lot of people think there's only 6 basic punches in boxing: the jab, the right hand, the left hook, right hook, and the 2 uppercuts. The reality is there's different variations for each of those punches that you could throw in different ways for different reasons. In this video, let's talk about a few ways that you could throw the right hand. So for the first one, we're not going to spend too much time on this. It's going to be the basic right hand. It's what everybody's thought in the beginning when they first start boxing, right? And a lot of guys who follow fundamentals like Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya, Canelo, right? They basically throw it like this, and they can be used for just about any situation, right? The way you want to throw it is always roll that shoulder out, snap it out, make sure you get that full extension on your punch. Turn that hip, turn that pivot, right? And follow those basics. It's a great right hand to land. It's very efficient, it's effective, and people have done it for hundreds of years. Let's move on to the next one. One of my favorite ways to throw the right hand is the peekaboo style right hand, and that's one made famous by Cus D'Amato through guys like Mike Tyson and Floyd Patterson. And basically, it's not like your typical right hand where you're going to shoot here and kind of cover your chin with your shoulder. In this one, you're going to shoot over the top, right? So you're going to roll that shoulder over, and it's almost going to smack you in your ear rather than just your face, right? You want that shoulder to smack you in your ear, and you're just going to shoot that right over the top. With this right hand, you sacrifice distance. It won't get you as much distance as throwing a regular right hand, right? Because you'll be sacrificing that range of the shoulder, but you'll be getting much more power and more leverage on it because you're putting more lat and shoulder and tricep into the punch, right? So it'll be a much more powerful punch, and it works really good on the inside because when you're moving your head and you're slipping that jab, you're going to be able to get leverage on that leg. And once you put your weight on that leg, all that force you could use to come back up into your opponent, right? So you're going to be here, hup, boom, and come back with that right hand, right? And what you want to do is you want to throw it over rather than straight. You're coming in, boom, like that, right? Right? You're moving your head, hop, hop, right? And you're shooting that right hand every time. And then you're going to get much more power on it. Try it on the bag. Try it on your sparring partner. You're going to see you're able to get much more leverage and put a little more pain on those shots. Next is going to be the overhand. I used to like starting my fights with this shot because it's really intimidating whether it lands or it misses. It puts your opponent in a state of alertness where they're more focused on the punches that you have coming than the punches that they want to have outgoing, right? So with this punch, the way it works is you're basically just going to throw it overhand, right? It's essentially, if you could imagine a jab coming at you, you'll throw your right over to the top. What you want to do is you want to lead with these 2 knuckles when you throw the overhand right, because that's where you're going to get the most pain on that punch, right? So what you do, you basically want to kind of swing it almost like a hook, but it's going to be coming straight. Imagine you just have like a kettlebell attached to a chain, right? Like your arm is a chain and your fist is a kettlebell. And you kind of just want to swing it, right? It's a very relaxed motion, but you're still getting all that power behind it because you're going to shoot your hips out and you're going to shoot your lats out. And you're going to pivot into that punch, right? So you're going to go and you're just going to shoot it over the top, right? This is a great counter to the jab, right? I talk about it in the intercepting fist video. You basically just want to come over the top, boom, over the jab. Another way you can do it is actually take it underhand, and you can shoot that right under the jab. And it's one of the punches that Roy Jones knocked Virgil Hill out with, right? You could just shoot that, boom, right under, right? Rather than just be a hook. You shoot that punch right under the jab or over the jab. It works great, and it's the punch Khabib actually used to knock down Conor McGregor. If you want to see more examples of how it's thrown, right? You're basically just going to sit here in your boxing stance, and you're going to shoot from here, boom, over the top, right? You're just going to go, and the cool thing about it is you can shoot it when you're off the center line. So you can't really get hit by punches. You move your body as if you're slipping the punch, and then come in, boom, while your opponent's in motion trying to either get to you or maybe trying to punch you, right? You could just come in, boom, and break his motion and hopefully break his jaw. Cuban fighters have been dominating the Olympics and the amateurs for a long time. There's also a lot of great Cuban professional boxers. And there's something that they do really beautifully with their right hand that we're just going to call the Cuban, right? And this is a good way actually to practice getting your hip into your right hand. I talk about it in other videos, especially things like power punching. You get full rotation on it when you practice the way Cubans actually throw their right hands, right? So the way they throw it is, what happens when they throw is they point their front shoulder all the way back, right? So the way they'll throw their right hand is their shoulder will be here, and then when they shoot their right hand, they get so much momentum on it that their shoulder is pointing all the way back, right? So I'll do it again so you can see me. Boom, you point that shoulder all the way back. You keep your glove up, and you point that shoulder. This gives you a lot more extension, and a lot more twist of the hip into that punch, right? And they do that especially when they know they can land it, right? So they'll set it up with a couple jabs and then wham, shoot off that right hand, right? So if you want to watch me from the back, you'll see that the front shoulder will end up actually pointing back, right? Wham, wham. And this is a good way to throw your right hand, but it's also a good way to practice getting full hip rotation, because a lot of times when guys think they're putting their hip into it, they're not really going all the way. You're able to get more hip into the punch, more turn into the punch, which means more power into the punch. And this is one of the good right hands that you could throw to get some sting into it and get full reach on that punch, because it forces you to shoot your shoulder out, right? Where if I'm tucked, I'm only able to reach here. If I'm doing the Cuban, I'm able to come away all the way out here and still get that reach on my opponent, right? So use it, practice it, try it on your sparring partner, try it on your bag, and see how much more range and how much more pop you get on that straight shot. So this last one I call the Rattlesnake, and it's because it's going to be a very quick snake-like motion into the punch, right? It's going to be very Bruce Lee-esque. You actually see fighters like Roy Jones and Floyd Mayweather do this a lot, where they kind of flick the right hand out, but it still has a lot of speed and power on it. And it's a little different because it's thrown a little bit more like a jab rather than your typical right hand. You're going to make some fundamental errors when you throw this shot. So all you keyboard warriors who are going to comment on not putting your hip into the punch or not pivoting, you can leave now, or actually feel free to leave your comments out. Feel free to ignore them. Right, so basically what you want to do is you want to shoot that right hand just straight out, but not worry too much about getting hit into the punch, right? The point of this is to get it out quick and be able to throw it as a lead punch rather than just a power punch that you set up with a jab or at a certain time, right? You're able to just shoot it, pop, pop, and actually get the glove on this so you can really see the benefit of it. So I got my glove on, and basically the way I like to throw this punch is a little bit unorthodox, right? I use it a lot for lead right hands. I use it a lot for doubling up, and I talk about this in my video about unorthodox combinations that you could throw, right? And the double right hand is one of them. So I like to do it when I double up or triple up on the right hand. I like to throw it as a lead instead of a jab, right? Maybe the opponent is taking good advantage of my jab or trying to take my jab away from me. I want to switch things up, or maybe they're expecting the jab, so I want to switch things up, right? Whatever it is, there's different reasons to throw it, and it's the best way to throw your right hand really fast at your opponent. Floyd Mayweather actually does this beautifully, so it definitely works. Something you could do, especially if a quick jab is coming at you, right? That's another way to throw it. But basically what you want to do is you just want to shoot it, right? You just want to shoot it quick, right? If you want to double up on it, right? You could do that. If you want to triple up on it, right? And you basically just shoot it like a rattlesnake, right? You want to think about it like a snake that is going in for the attack. You see snakes, they don't come in slow, right? They don't get all this range. Their goal is to A to B, just to shoot quick at you, right? So that's what you want to do with this, almost like a jab, right? You want to just snap it, bring it back, right? So just like that. I'm putting a little pivot behind it, right? But I'm not over committing to the move, because I want it to be quick, right? I want it to be a split-second move, right? And you can still have sting on it, like, right? Like if you see Roy Jones throw it, he kills people with it, especially when he shoots it over the jab, right? So you could definitely do some damage. You could double up, go head, body, it doesn't matter, right? It's a good way to go to the body, right? Every time, it doesn't matter, right? Imagine being able to do that kind of volume with your right hand. So do the rattlesnake, practice it, get speed on it, right? Try to make it as quick as you can, and then you'll be able to come out there and throw lead right hands like Ali, like Jones, and like Floyd. Now, of all those, the best way to throw your right hand is to use all of them, right? You shouldn't just have one tool in your toolbox. One thing that Nazeem Richardson said about Floyd Mayweather that I think was so accurate that many people have a misconception of is that Floyd didn't get to where he was at by not knowing how to do everything. He may have a preferred method of style, right, where he's defending himself, but if you look back at all of his fights, with the Shane Mosley, to Manny Pacquiao, to Canelo, to Maidana, he knows how to fight every single type of fight. He knows how to have a firefight on the inside. He knows how to fight off the ropes, right? He knows how to throw a lead right hook or a lead right hand or a lead left hook, right? All these things that are fundamentally wrong. You have to know how to do everything in boxing. You can't just sit there, learn the basics and go, that's what I gotta do, right? So all these guys that comment online and giving advice to guys like Canelo, don't listen to them, right? to have the audacity to even look at somebody like Canelo and say, hey man, you're not pivoting on your left hook, and he's got one of the best left hooks in the business, right? So you want to learn how to do everything. You want to think outside the box when it comes to boxing. You want to, in the beginning, focus on the fundamentals, really drill them and get them down packed because they're important. But once you actually have the confidence and the expertise to go off and develop your own style, then you want to start adding different tools to your toolbox in order to be a better fighter. So try these out, guys. Practice them, right? You're going to only get good at them when you drill, drill, drill. Make sure you drill everything you try to learn. Everything you see great fighters do in a fight is something they've done in practice millions of times, right? So make sure whatever it is you want to learn how to do, you practice, you improve, you practice, you improve, you get feedback, you improve, you continue to practice. Hope you guys liked the video. If you did, hit all those YouTube buttons. Check out the links in the description below if you want to cop a shirt like this. Check out our shop. A bunch of other useful links in there for you guys. I'm Sean Brawl Brothers, and I'll brawl with you guys next time.